All right, everybody, welcome back. We are doing a deep dive today
That's right.
into vocabulary.
Yes.
Which is incredibly useful
Absolutely.
for English language learners.
It is.
Yeah.
And actually, everybody, I think, benefits from expanding their vocabulary.
Oh, sure.
Just in general, for better understanding of the language and also clarity of communication.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be a fun one today.
It is. And the cool thing is we're working from a very specific list. This is the Oxford 5000 Advanced Extended Vocabulary List.
That's right.
And we're looking at Group 30.
Group 30.
Words 871 to 900.
Yep.
So this is good stuff. This means...
Yeah. This is the good stuff.
This is the good stuff. These are high-frequency words.
High frequency.
These are words
Very useful.
you need to know.
Yes.
Okay, so our first word
Right.
is heighten,
Heighten.
pronounced heighten.
Heighten.
And I was thinking about this word earlier today because the smell of freshly brewed coffee really heightens my alertness in the morning.
That's a great example. Yeah, so heighten basically means to increase the intensity or the level of something.
Yeah.
So like you said, the smell of coffee can heighten your alertness. You could also say something like, the music heightened the suspense in the film.
Oh, yeah.
Or, just anything where you're increasing the level or the intensity of something.
Yeah, so let's look at a couple other examples. Let's see here. The company heightened security measures after the recent break-in.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. And her anxiety heightened as the deadline approached.
Perfect. Yeah, those are great examples of heighten in different contexts.
Okay, so moving right along, our next word is helmet.
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 Yeah, pretty easy to visualize this one, right? We all know what a helmet is.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a hard hat worn for protection, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, construction workers wear helmets. People who play certain sports wear helmets.
Yeah.
Motorcycle riders wear helmets. It's all about protecting your head.
Yeah, for sure. So some more examples. Always wear a helmet when riding a bicycle.
Good one.
The firefighter's helmet protected him from the falling debris.
Yeah, another good one.
And she adjusted her helmet before entering the construction site.
Perfect.
Okay, so moving right along, we have the word hence.
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 Oh.
Yeah. And this one's a little bit trickier, right?
Yeah, this one's a little bit more formal.
Yeah.
It basically means for this reason or therefore.
Okay.
So you might hear it in like a more formal speech or a presentation or something like that.
Yeah, so like the evidence points to climate change, hence the need for immediate action.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Okay, so a couple other examples. She was tired, hence her decision to go to bed early.
Good one.
And the roads are icy, hence we must drive carefully.
Perfect. Yeah, those are great examples of how you can use hence.
All right, so the next word we have is herb.
Herb.
Herb. And this one can be a little tricky for English language learners because of that silent...
Yeah, it is. I mean, you look at it and you want to say herb, but it's just herb.
Yeah, exactly.
But the meaning is pretty straightforward, I think. I mean, we're talking about plants with leaves that are used for flavoring in food or for medicine or sometimes just for their fragrance.
Right. So like the chef added fresh herbs to the pasta sauce.
Yep.
She used a blend of herbs to make a soothing tea.
Yeah.
And the garden was filled with fragrant herbs like lavender and rosemary.
Perfect. Yeah, those are great examples.
Okay, so next up we have heritage.
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 Heritage. And this always makes me think of those travel shows where they're highlighting, the rich history and culture of different places.
Yeah, absolutely. Heritage is all about what's passed down through generations. It could be traditions, values, cultural treasures, anything that's sort of inherited from previous generations.
Right. So like the ancient ruins are part of the country's rich heritage.
Perfect.
She was proud of her family's heritage and traditions.
Good one.
And protecting our cultural heritage for future generations is essential.
Exactly.
Okay, so our next word is hidden.
Hidden.
Hidden. And I always think of like a pirate's hidden treasure.
Of course, yeah, buried treasure.
Yeah, exactly.
Hidden means concealed or not easily seen.
Right.
So it could be a physical object like buried treasure, or it could be something more abstract, like a hidden talent.
Right.
Or a hidden meaning in a poem.
Yeah, so like the children found a hidden room in the attic.
Ooh, that's fun.
There was a hidden message in the painting.
Ooh, intriguing.
And the spy used a hidden camera to record the meeting.
Very sneaky.
Okay, so the next word is hierarchy.
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 Oh.
And this one I always think of kind of like a pyramid, right?
Yes.
With, the most important person at the top.
Yeah, that's a good way to visualize it. A hierarchy is a system where people or things are ranked according to their importance or power.
Yeah, and you see hierarchies in a lot of different contexts. Oh, absolutely.
So, like, the company had a strict hierarchy, but the CEO at the top.
Mm-hmm.
There is a clear hierarchy among the animals in a wolf pack.
Yeah.
And the social hierarchy of the time was very rigid.
Exactly. Yeah, you see it everywhere.
Okay, so our next word is high profile.
High profile.
High profile.
High profile.
And this word always makes me think of celebrities.
Right, yeah.
People in the public eye.
Yeah, high profile basically means attracting a lot of public attention.
Yeah.
So it could be a person, it could be an event.
Right.
Anything that's sort of in the spotlight.
Yeah, so like the celebrity couple had a high profile wedding.
Mm-hmm.
The politician was involved in a high profile scandal.
Yeah. That's definitely high profile.
And the company launched a high-profile advertising campaign.
Exactly.
Okay, so our next word is highway.
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 And this is another one that's pretty easy to visualize, right?
Yeah. I mean, we all drive on highways or at least see them. It's basically a major road designed for high-speed travel.
Right, connecting different cities and towns.
Exactly.
So we took the highway to get to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic on the highway was heavy during rush hour.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's pretty common.
And the highway was closed due to construction.
Yeah, that happens too.
Okay, so our next word is hilarious.
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 And this one makes me think of, watching a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, or a really funny movie.
Yeah.
Hilarious just means extremely funny.
Right.
Causing a lot of laughter.
So, like, the movie was so hilarious, I couldn't stop laughing. Her jokes were absolutely hilarious. The whole audience was in stitches.
Yeah.
And we had a hilarious time at the party last night.
Perfect.
Okay, so next up we have hint.
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 And this is another one that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I mean, a hint is just a clue or a suggestion that helps you figure something out.
Right. So, like, can you give me a hint for the crossword puzzle? He dropped a hint about his surprise birthday party.
Oh, hopefully the surprise wasn't ruined.
And she gave me a hint about what to get her for her birthday.
Smart.
Okay, so our next word is hip.
Hip.
Hip. And this one's a little tricky because it has a couple of different meanings.
It does, yeah. It can be a little confusing.
Right.
So hip can refer to, like, the physical part of your body.
Mm-hmm.
The joint connecting your leg to your torso.
Right.
But it can also mean something that's fashionable or trendy.
Right. So that new restaurant is very hip.
Mm-hmm.
She injured her hip while playing tennis.
Ouch.
And he wore his hat at a hip angle.
Stylish.
Okay, so next up we have historian.
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 Exactly.
I think we all know what a historian is, right?
Yeah, I mean, a historian is someone who studies and writes about the past.
Right.
They analyze historical documents and try to piece together, the story of what happened.
Yeah, so like the historian spent years researching the Civil War.
She was a renowned historian specializing in ancient Egypt.
Cool.
And the book was written by a leading historian.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so our next word is homeland.
Homeland.
Homeland. And this always makes me think of, like, where someone's roots are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the country where a person was born or where they feel a strong sense of belonging.
Right.
It can also refer to, like, the land of their ancestors. So it's a very kind of emotionally charged word.
Yeah, so like he returned to his homeland after many years abroad. She felt a deep connection to her homeland.
Yeah.
And the refugees longed to return to their homeland.
Absolutely.
Okay, our next word is homeless.
Homeless.
Homeless. And unfortunately, this is a word that describes a very real and difficult situation for many people.
Sadly, it is, yeah. Homeless means without a permanent place to live.
Right.
And it's a complex issue with, many different causes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very real problem. Yeah, so like the homeless man slept on a park bench. The city opened a new shelter for the homeless. And the number of homeless people has been rising in recent years.
Yeah, that's unfortunately true in many places.
Okay, our next word is honesty.
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 And this is a word that we all value in our relationships, right?
So, absolutely, honesty is essential.
Right.
I mean, it means being truthful, being sincere. It's the foundation of trust and strong relationships.
So honesty is the best policy.
It really is.
He was known for his honesty and integrity.
Those are admirable qualities.
And she appreciated his honesty even when it was difficult to hear.
Yeah, sometimes honesty can be tough, but it's always the best way to go.
Okay, so our next word is hook.
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 And this word makes me think of a pirate with a hook for a hand.
Yeah, that's a classic image.
But of course, it has a lot of other meanings too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, a hook is basically a curved piece of metal or plastic that's used for catching or hanging things.
Right. So like he hung his coat on the hook by the door. The fish took the bait and got caught on the hook.
Yeah.
And the song had a catchy hook that got stuck in my head.
That happens to me all the time.
Okay, so our next word is hopeful.
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 Hopeful. And this word has that feeling of optimism, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hopeful means feeling optimistic or having a positive expectation about the future.
Right.
You're looking forward to something good happening.
Right. So like she was hopeful that she would get the job.
Fingers crossed.
He remained hopeful despite the challenges he faced.
That's the spirit.
And we are hopeful for a peaceful resolution to the conflict.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so our next word is hopefully.
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 And this one's kind of like hopeful, but with a little bit of uncertainty added in.
Yeah, it's like saying fingers crossed or I hope so.
Right. So hopefully the weather will be nice tomorrow.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Hopefully the traffic won't be too bad.
Yeah, we can always hope.
And hopefully she will say yes to my proposal.
Oh, good luck with that.
Okay, so next up we have horizon.
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 And I always think of that line where the sky meets the sea.
Yeah, that's the classic image of the horizon.
Right.
It's that distant line where the earth and sky appear to meet.
Right, so like the sun dipped below the horizon.
Beautiful sunset.
We could see the ship on the horizon. And the company was looking to expand its horizons.
Yeah, that's a metaphorical use of the word.
Right.
Meaning to explore new possibilities.
Exactly. Okay, so our next word is horn.
Horn.
Horn. And this word has a few different meanings, right?
It does, yeah. It can be a little confusing.
Yeah.
So a horn can be a device that makes a loud sound.
Right.
Like a car horn or foghorn. But it can also refer to like a hard-pointed growth on an animal's head.
Right.
Like the horns of a bull or a rhinoceros.
All right, so he honked the horn to warn the pedestrian.
Good driver.
The bull charged at the matador with his horns lowered.
Yikes, that's scary.
And the musician played a beautiful melody on his French horn.
Very talented.
Okay, so our next word is hostage.
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 And this is kind of a scary word, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a word that evokes, images of dangerous situations. A hostage is a person who's held captive by someone who demands something in return for their release.
Right. So like the terrorists took several hostages.
Yeah, that's a classic example.
The negotiators worked to secure the release of the hostages. And the hostage situation ended peacefully.
Thank goodness.
Okay, so our next word is hostile.
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 And this word makes me think of someone with a very aggressive or unfriendly attitude.
Exactly. Yeah, hostile means unfriendly, antagonistic, showing aggression.
Right. So, like, the crowd was hostile towards the speaker.
Yeah, that's not a good situation to be in.
The two countries had a long history of hostile relations.
Unfortunately, that happens too.
And he worked in a hostile work environment.
Yeah. That's no fun.
Okay, so next up we have hostility.
Hostility.
Hostility. And this is kind of like the feeling or behavior of being hostile.
Exactly. Yeah, hostility is the noun form of hostile.
Right.
So it's the actual feeling or act of being hostile. So you might say something like, there was a lot of hostility between the two groups.
Right. His hostility toward his ex-wife was evident. And the peace talks aimed to reduce hostility between the warring factions.
Good goal.
Okay, so our next word is humanitarian.
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 And this word makes me think of organizations like the Red Cross.
Absolutely. Yeah, humanitarian relates to efforts aimed at improving the lives of people who are suffering or in need.
Right.
So, humanitarian workers, it's all about helping those in need.
Right. So, like, the organization provided humanitarian aid to the earthquake victims. She was a dedicated humanitarian, always working to help others.
Admirable.
And the country received international humanitarian assistance after the disaster.
Good.
Okay, so our next word is humanity.
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 Yeah.
And this word encompasses all of humankind, right?
It does. Yeah. Humanity refers to all human beings collectively. And it often emphasizes like our shared values, our compassion, our interconnectedness.
Right. So like the crimes against humanity committed during the war were horrific.
Yeah, unfortunately that happens.
We must work together to protect the future of humanity.
Absolutely.
And her belief in humanity was unwavering.
I love that.
Okay, so our next word is humble.
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 And this one makes me think of someone who's, down to earth, modest, not boastful.
Exactly. Yeah. Humble means not proud or arrogant. Someone who doesn't like to brag about their accomplishments.
Yeah.
They're kind of unassuming.
Right. So, like, despite his success, he remained humble.
Good for him.
She was a humble and kind person.
Yeah, I like her.
And he accepted the award with humility.
That's the way to do it.
Okay, so our next word is hunger.
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 And unfortunately, this is another word that highlights a very serious global issue, right?
Sadly, hunger is the feeling of needing to eat, but it can also refer to like a strong desire or craving for something.
Right.
So you could say she had a hunger for knowledge, or he had a hunger for adventure.
Right.
So it can be used in a more metaphorical sense as well.
Yeah, so like millions of people around the world suffer from hunger.
Yeah, the sad reality.
The children cried out in hunger.
Heartbreaking.
And she had a hunger to travel the world.
That's a good hunger to have.
Okay, so our next word is hydrogen.
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 And this takes us back to high school chemistry class.
Flashback to the periodic table. Hydrogen is the lightest and most abundant element in the universe. It's a key component of water.
Right.
And it plays a crucial role in many chemical reactions.
So like hydrogen is a colorless, odorless gas. Water is composed of hydrogen and oxygen.
Exactly. 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom.
And hydrogen fuel cells are a promising source of clean energy.
Yeah, they are very exciting technology.
Okay, and our final word for today is hypothesis.
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 And this is a bit of a mouthful.
It is. It's a long word.
Yeah.
But it's a very important word in science. A hypothesis is a proposed explanation for something.
Right.
That needs further investigation.
Right. So it's not a proven fact.
Not yet. It's an idea that needs to be tested.
Right. So like the scientist developed a hypothesis to explain the phenomenon. Her hypothesis was supported by the experimental data.
That's great.
And the hypothesis was later proven to be incorrect.
Yeah, that happens too. Sometimes the hypothesis is wrong, but that's okay.
Right. It's all part of the scientific process.
Exactly. Science is all about testing ideas and revising them based on evidence.
Right. Well, this has been a great deep dive.
It has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's amazing how many words we use every day.
I know, right?
Without really thinking about their meanings.
Yeah, we take it for granted.
Yeah. And for English language learners, mastering these high-frequency words is so important.
It really is. It's like adding tools to your communication toolbox.
Yeah, so keep practicing, keep exploring, keep expanding your vocabulary.
Absolutely.
You might be surprised by the richness and depth of the English language.
It's a fascinating language.
It is. All right, so thanks for joining us on this deep dive into vocabulary.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you learned something new.
I hope so.
And feel inspired to keep learning.
Always be learning.
Until next time, happy wordsmithing.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.